What was the reason for us to be created? Couldn't we not be from the beginning and not know that we don't exist? What was the purpose behind it? Why did the creation happen? These are questions that many of us have asked ourselves and others at least several times during our lives. Some of us thought of it alone. Some of us tried to reach a convincing answer by discussing it with others. Also, some others went further and researched and even read many books in search of answers to these questions. Different answers are given, but what is the main answer to these questions? After all, why do we exist? In this video, we examine this question from the perspective of science, religion, and mysticism, and we come to interesting answers. What is the world? The images that we see in a vague and mysterious way since we were born. None of us know exactly how to live and what to do with this strange world. Because we have only one chance. In this channel, we seek to discover the secrets. Hidden secrets that few people talk about in everyday life. Subscribe to us and press the bell icon. Attempts to find answers to these questions may be several thousand years old. From the recorded history of philosophy, it can be understood that many philosophers from ancient Greece sought to find answers to these fundamental human questions. Following philosophy, science struggled with these questions in the past centuries. Physics, as a worthy successor of philosophy, reached interesting results by studying the world and performing astronomical observations and experiments. But were the answers to these questions found? As we read about the progress of physics in the 20th century, we realize that everything started with the discovery of other galaxies. Where Edwin Hubble realized that besides the Milky Way, there are thousands or maybe billions of other galaxies in our universe. He was surprised by this discovery. In his experiments he noticed an even more strange thing, that our world is getting bigger at a fast pace. But he wondered where this growth is going. Where did the universe begin to grow? In those years, the market of physical theories became hotter and hotter until scientists suggested that if our universe is getting bigger now, then it must have been born at only one point in the past. Who finally realized with mathematical calculations that this happened about 14 billion years ago and that the universe began to swell from one point. Everything was becoming clear and making sense until some other scientists asked this old question again. If we found the starting point of the universe, so the question is, what existed before the birth of the world? These questions attracted the minds of different scientists and physicists for years and decades. In one of the most interesting forms of this question, the famous physicist Stephen Hawking says, "Our goal is to know why the world was created and why there is something instead of nothing." This question, from another point of view, is exactly the same as the question that we expressed in the words of the philosophers at the beginning of the video. Why were we created at all? Why was the world created? Was it not possible for nothing to be created at all? In his books, Hawking answers that there was no time before the creation of the world, so asking the question of what existed before this world is not a very logical question because there was no time at all. Also, relying on the results obtained from the quantum world and the laws governing atoms, he concludes that the creation of the world could have been a random event, without any specific reason and without any purpose. The answer was strongly rejected by Einstein and many other famous physicists, and they believed, if, in quantum physics, we came to the conclusion that something can come into being without reason and disappear without a specific reason, then we must have made a mistake somewhere, and our interpretation of the laws is wrong. In the end, the answer of Hawking and the scientists in favor of this theory not only did not seem pleasant and logical to most philosophers but also did not convince the questioning minds of many people in the world and did not make them stop looking for answers to these basic questions. Perhaps the main problem here was that physics did not specify where the primary material of the world's creation came from and for what reason. A material that, in terms of physics, carried the entire creation of matter, space, and even time within itself. But how do mystics and religions answer these questions that were raised at the beginning of the video? Can we reach a specific answer, or should we continue to research and think? By examining many mystics of the East, almost common answers can be reached. That this world is a place to experiment and draw conclusions. Many mysticisms, such as Hinduism, believe that this world is an opportunity for the souls who are sent here to gain experiences. For example, in Einkar mysticism, we read that the souls who are actually separated from Shugmat or God, after living in this world many times and creating karmic cycles and different dharma, they gain many experiences and learn many spiritual lessons. They experience physical life in the form of different beings and, finally, humans, again and again until the karmas are destroyed and the necessary lessons are learned. Then they return to Shugmat and go back to higher classes or worlds. Perhaps in the examination of these mysticisms, it can be concluded that the purpose of the creation of the world and man, and the purpose of creating something instead of nothing, is to create a place to test the souls that are separated from God. In the next videos, we will examine these questions from the perspective of different religions and mysticisms. In this video, we raised one of the most basic questions of the human mind: why was something created instead of nothing?